All right, we're about to get this show on the road. Let's do it. Hit it. From the lockdown San Francisco Bay Area, live every Tuesday night, it's ESG Live with Chuck and Raymir. Tonight, the Apollo Scooters co-founder, Christopher Ray. Scooters versus cars. Which ones really block the road? And the premiere of the Apollo Explore scooter. And now, the man with 4 hours sleep last night, Chuck Temple. All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in for another episode. I'm just going to say hi to everybody. Looks like Vienna's on here, David's on here, Greg's on here, SK Racing, we see you all the time. It's good to see all the friendly faces. As you'll see behind me, we have the Apollo scooter. So today's show is featuring the Apollo Explore. We're going to have Chris and Mac, the co-founders of Apollo Scooters, who many of you guys know already. People talking about Apollo scooters a ton right now all over social media. So it's going to be a great show. We're going to have them on in the second half of the show. We also have today a new study about whether or not cars are violating the rules in terms of parking violations more than scooters that you see on the roads, the scooter sharing ones. So we have a little news on that, some worldwide news. We got a big photo Friday coming up for you because we had tons of people, submit their photos, and we had like 6 runners up. So we're going to show you that. We've got some exclusive ESG sales, including some really big discounts going on right now. So let's get it started. All right, mission, Electric Scooter Guide, is to help you find the perfect electric scooter. We do this show every Tuesday at 5 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time, rain or shine. Today it's shine and it's hot in here. We're going to have to get I was just talking to Ramir, we're going to have to get an air conditioning in this place because it's hot. All right, please join our community. If you're on if you're on YouTube, you probably already subscribed to us, but make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And then, of course, join our Facebook group. That is where the conversation's happening right now. Apollo just jumped in here. Plus Rep, I see you all the time. Rev Rise is in here. Awesome. It's good to see everybody. Pan, Joyce, Max, Wayne. Okay, I'll stop reading off your names. So on Facebook, that's where we talk when the show's not going on. So right now, hit up the live chat and chat about stuff. When Apollo comes online, we're gonna take your questions for them, and then they're gonna answer your own questions. So that'll be real nice. Speaking of our Facebook group, we do Photo Friday every Friday, and so we have a new winner. I'm gonna probably botch this name, but Raynor Ong, O-N-G. So Raynor has a fantastic, it's a Hero S8, which is a scooter that we have not reviewed before. Looks like some interesting, like solid tires. Looks like an interesting scooter. Runners up. So David Vosk, who's awesome. Chat with this guy all the time. He has, I think, a runners up photo. I believe it's a Speedway 5. So let's check that one out. Very cool. And David's in the live chat right now. We also had a runner up of the EMOVE Cruiser, which is Robert Joseph's photo. So let's throw that on there. Heck yeah. Looking pretty sweet there on the beach. Next up, man, we have a lot of ties for second place. Yaj Lee, who I think won a couple weeks ago. His M365's got a great picture of that scooter. Thomas Bennett with his Speedway 5. See if we can get that one up there. Raymir is sweating because he's on the mouse, clicking. And then we don't ever put ourselves on here, but just because I took this photo myself and I'm not a photographer, I'm super proud of my photo that I took when we were filming the review of the Explorer. So, okay. Next up, so new releases. So the scooters that are coming up next Of course, we have the Apollo Explorer today. Next week, we are featuring the ENOKIM Ox, which this is going to be an interesting scooter to review. I've ridden it a ton already. It's a different kind of scooter. I think you're going to want to hear about that. We're going to do a showdown. We asked the audience and we wanted to know what scooter you guys wanted to see a showdown for. We got tons of responses. The number one response was a 09 versus the Wide Wheel Pro. So we have that already scripted out. We just need to make the darn thing. We're going to have the 08 coming up shortly. The U scooter, we're either going to do the S Plus Sport or the GT. That's the E2 GT or U scooter GT. We haven't gotten one yet. We're waiting for that to get to us, and we'll do it. Also, the Kiwa Hummer just arrived. It's right there by the door. So that we'll be getting that review very shortly. All right, Micromobility America. So micromobility for the scooter sharing side, or just like the whole industry kind of thing, that's the platform to kind of be on if you're a business owner, if you're in this industry, or if you just want to know more about it. Their event, their Micromobility America event, got rescheduled to July 16th and 17th. I'll be going there. Also, they just jumped on their new Slack channel, and it's a great place to kind of like interface and meet with other people in the greater micromobility, right? When I think of micromobility, right, you can break it down in a lot of ways, but one way would be shared versus owned or personal, right? We kind of represent the personal market, right? The owned market. It's like buying a scooter for yourself, and you all know the benefits of that. Well, of course, there's the sharing side, right? And so micromobility, I think, encompasses both of those sides. And you could also break it down by type of device or type of modal, right? Bike, e-bike, roller skate, what have you, electric skateboard. So anyway, okay, some big discounts that have been going on, and some news. So VOROMOTORS, we have a 7% off discount off of the EMOVE Cruiser or EMOVE Touring, which is they're both fantastic scooters. We have our video reviews on both of them. It's just our website name if you want to get that discount, but they do have some news, and that is that maybe due to us, maybe due to popular demand, I don't know, but they have the thumb throttle that is ready. It's out. They've been teasing us about it for a couple weeks now, a couple months maybe, and so it's out. It's only on the Cruiser. It's $59 if you buy that aftermarket, and you just you can swap it out yourself. It's actually pretty easy because the way the Cruiser's built, you can just plop out the cable. I think some of the stuff on this one as well. A lot of scooters now are kind of plug and play for that kind of stuff. It's $89 if you want to add it and have them install it for you. So it's kind of cool, and it's nice. It's nice to see that actually starting off. So next up, Unagi. Unagi is doing a big blowout discount for coronavirus. I think they sent us a video, so we're going to go ahead and play that now.
Hi, Michael from Unagi. At Unagi, we're focused on making the world's best portable, lightweight electric scooter for personal transportation. That puts us in the unique position to be able to offer essential workers the best, safest, easiest, and most reliable way to get to your important jobs. So in consideration of the current social distancing measures put in place, we'd like to offer you a 25% discount on any Unagi scooter. You can couple that discount with our no money down financing options, and you can have what Chuck has said is the best ultralight portable electric scooter that you can buy for as low as $36 per month. So use the discount code RIDESAFE and save today. Thank you all so much. Be safe, ride safe, and stay healthy.
All right. Okay. So cool. So check that out. We have a link to that coupon code and Unagi in the video description. And thanks to them for sending that clip in. Rev Rides also is having a super big discount going on right now. It's a pre-order discount. So any scooter that is on pre-order, you get 10% off, and that's across the board. So that's as big of a discount as they ever have done and probably ever will do. So if you're interested in one of those scooters, check that out. They also just recently upped their warranty from 6 months to 12 months, which is awesome for everybody that owns the Zero scooters. That's great. They also just recently started carrying a whole bunch of Segway products, including the Segway 9bot Max. So anyway, check them out. And that's, I don't know how long that's going to last, probably until they start maybe shipping pre-orders. I'm not really sure, but it is the biggest discount. I know it because I, work with RevRides a lot. Okay. Next up. So I'm starting a new segment, and we're going to get into the scooter, right? And you guys tell me if basically, I was talking to Justin about this morning, and we're like, okay, what is, I'm very interested in the industry at large, about how cities are being developed, how scooter sharing companies are leading kind of like the gateway drug to these companies and what's happening with them right now. So, if you don't like this type of content, let me know. We were going to try to make a poll, but whatever. Just let me know. But anyway, I have this new segment. It's called The War for Our Roads. And the kind of impetus or the reason behind this is because roads are the platform that more and more people are trying to use right now, right? You have cars, which are the incumbents, right? And actually before them, you had people walking and horses and buggies, right? And then cars came along and disrupted that whole darn thing. People hated them, right? Bikes came along, there's always been a war for our roads in some way. Now, micromobility is coming along, right? And before you just had bikes all pissed off. Now you have everybody else trying to compete along with the bikes for the bike lane, when you also have, if you think about the room, the total road width, right? It's from the edge of a building. And if you include the sidewalk, right? Just think about it, right? From the edge of a business, the sidewalk, the furniture zone, the curb, right? The bike lane or the parking spaces, then the bike lane, whichever way your city does it. Then you have the lanes for cars, right? The middle divider. And then you have the whole nother thing on the other side. And if you think about, I don't know the stat, I have to figure this out, but I believe it's a massive amount of area that's devoted to cars. And what's happening in cities, right? And it's happening faster. If you don't live in a city, it's happening faster than you probably realize. If you live in a city, you probably are aware of how many micromobility vehicles, and when I say that, I mean every modal type, from bicycle, e-bike, electric skateboard, one wheel, electric unicycle, electric scooter, whatever, right? It's not a war, but it kind of is becoming a war in some senses, because you have cars that are like big tanks, 4,000 pounds, right? And those have been winning the war, right? If you're in a bike up against a tank, you kind of lose that war. And there are a lot of deaths. I would say that there are probably more deaths on our roads than, and again, I should check the stats, but in the current wars right now, right? So we looked at a study. There's a new study that came out talking about who actually is parking worse, who's actually making parking violations, right? We all hear in the media about how terrible scooters are, how they've clogged up the sidewalks, they're impeding everybody's way, right? Handicapped people can't get by. And I know that this is related to the scooter sharing side of things, but I just thought that the info in this study was actually really interesting and something that you might be able to take away from this, because I have to defend, people know what I do. This is my full-time job. I have to defend scooters, and most of the time people think it's sharing, and I'm like, no, I work with the personal side, and they're like, what is that, right? We'll get into that later. But for the sharing side, right, this study came out, and it's called Impeding Access, the Frequency and Characteristics of Improper Scooter, Bike, and Car Parking. So what they did, they looked at scooter and bikes being parked over 3 different days and in 5 different cities. This is a legit study. It's in a journal. I actually posted the link to the journal article in the video description, so you can fact check me for sure. So they looked at 3,496 instances of bikes, scooters, and cars parking, okay? And so first, we think scooters, right? So many of them are parked terribly. Okay, so this is what they found. Out of 865 observations of parking, they found 7 violations. That's 0.8% rate of violations. And what they called violations were any time where a scooter is blocking a crosswalk, a ramp, or a sidewalk and not leaving at least 32 inches of room. Okay, so it's like impeding the flow of traffic, impeding other people, impeding the handicapped folks, right? That happened 7 times out of those. This is not me. This is the study that's saying this. Okay. Now, just to compare that to, the furniture zone is the area between like where you have your walking area and then you have your furniture zone of the sidewalk, which is like where sandwich boards go and stuff like that. There's actually a higher rate of impediment due to sandwich boards and other city obstacles than there was with actually electric scooters. Then they looked at cars. Okay. Now, for the car violation, same thing. When cars are parked, are they blocking the road so other cars cannot get by them, or are they blocking the bike lane? Okay, so they looked at these in cities. Out of 2,631 car observations, there was 651 violations of impeding access. Okay, so there's more, but of course there's more cars to look at. But the real interesting part is the rate. That is a rate of 24.7%. So you have cars impeding access 24.7% of the time, mostly, of course, due to ride sharing and commercial vehicles. And if you ever rode in the city before, you know how horrible that is. And it's not necessarily their fault. I'm not putting blame. I'm not doing anything. All I'm saying is that we need to understand what is actually happening out there. And we need to like start putting data and truth to some of the claims that you see in the media or in the news. Because it's not actually true, at least not according to the study. And this is 5 different cities over 3 days and thousands of observations. Okay, you can see that link. All right. Next up. So we're just going to real quick talk about, so scooter sharing companies, right? Again, we're going to talk about scooter sharing companies, but I'm actually going to relate this to the personal market because things are changing quickly in the sharing market, and that is affecting the personal market in terms of the scooters that you guys are going to see, if you're a scooter company, how money's flowing and things like that. So we have this coronavirus right now, and so this is really shaking things up, but there were already problems in Lime and in Bird before that. There were, there have been layoffs. There have been devaluations in terms of these massive valuations that they got, right? So Bird and Lime were valued at like 2.5 and 2.4 billion, I believe, okay? Which is huge. Right now, Lime is trying to get emergency funding at a $400 million valuation currently. So these, we don't know what's going to happen. Some people are saying, well, they never had a legit business plan to begin with. These cannot be profitable. We knew that originally, right? Because they were using kind of like really inexpensive scooters. And then, last year they started beefing the scooter up, and that's when you have 9bot Max come in, the Okai models come in, right? That are that are gonna, hold it a lot better. But you still have the Chargers, and it's just an expensive model, right? But it obviously has value, or else nobody be using it, and people do use them, right? So Lime is ceasing operations in every. This is the news. Lime is ceasing operations in every city. Spin is only now operating in 8 cities. What's nice to hear is that many operators are giving free rides to like healthcare workers, which is fantastic. Actually, comes at a really good time for them. But why do you care about this, right? How does this affect the personal market? So what we know, right? This is not necessarily good for the personal market. The personal market grew up in the shadow of the scooter sharing market, okay? If you ask most people, and I've done it before, ask them, how did you hear about electric scooters to begin with? They'll tell you like, oh, I rode one in, wherever the heck I was, I rode one in San Francisco, and I'm like, damn, this is awesome. But like, I don't want to have to go, find one and then it's taken, or there's no battery, or it's smeared poop, or like, whatever it happens to be. So you could think, the way I think of it is that like the personal scooters, right? Like the sharing is like the gateway drug. The scooter sharing is like the gateway drug to the personal market. And so we've had this massively inflated probably, but also very valuable sharing market to kind of help along the personal market. And I'm not saying that personal scooters didn't exist. They just didn't exist in any capacity, in any semblance of where we're at now, with the personal market exploding, new companies coming all the time, different models coming out, 3-wheel this, and 24 months warranties on that, and like all these different things. That is all like, I believe that most of that is coming as the gateway drug from people that try scooter sharing first. So what happens if scooter sharing companies don't come back from this coronavirus, which a lot of businesses, we don't know what's going to happen, but they were already kind of having some valuation problems and funding problems before. Now they're laying everybody off, and as they come back, how are they going to come back? Is it going to come back big? And so my question is, how is the personal market going to continue to evolve and expand without being kind of helped along by the bigger brother, right? With the sharing market, how is the personal market going to, like, where is it going to get its new blood from, right? Its new consumers, right? So I think where we're at, and I want to introduce something real quick. Again, it's going to be 5 minutes, and tell me if you don't like this content. I love this stuff, but if you don't like it, you got to let me know, because maybe I get a little too into the business side of things. But I'll go a few more minutes on this, and then we'll get to the scooter, and then we'll get Apollo on here too. But I think the way to think about this whole thing is technology adoption lifecycle, right? And if you're not familiar with that, we have a little chart for you. And basically there's 5 parts of it, right? It starts with innovators. Those are the ones that seek out novel technology. That's like me in like 2015 buying my Gear VR, because I was so obsessed with virtual reality and like how that could change lives. And it wasn't ready yet, right? Obviously it was super clunky back then. So it's like a hobby, right? That's innovators, right? Then you've got your early adopters, okay? And they're quick to understand the new benefits of new technology. They're the first ones. It's a lot more people, right? And if you look at this chart, you can see it's a standard deviation. So it's a percentage, right? You have a very small amount of people that are innovators, a little bit bigger amount of people that are early adopters. In total, it's like 16%, right? Of your total potential market share. So then you have, of course, early majority and late majority. That is the market. That's the biggest thing. That's where a product comes into its own, okay? And then laggards, of course, are like your grandparents that got their cell phone like this year, okay? So this is where I think we are. And I could be wrong on this, but I think we're at the chasm. And there's a great book. I forget the guy's name that wrote Crossing the Chasm. And the chasm is this spot that I think we're at now, which is in between early adopters and early majority, right? And that's the spot that's a special point in technology, where if you cross it, you basically are like on like, you're going to have a good company. You're going to be surviving a long time. Like you're going to get masses and masses of people. Okay, right now, scooters, you think they're everywhere if you live in a city, but if you don't, you've never seen one before. And so it's still somewhat fringe, but especially with the personal market, right? And this is what I'm talking about, the personal, not the sharing market. So how do we know we're at the chasm, and how can we cross it? And, again, I didn't put a ton of time into thinking this through, but I can tell you some really quick and obvious things that I think. And, I think that what needs to happen is that the products need to become more refined. We need to have, like, we're seeing a change in warranties. We cannot have these 90-day warranties anymore. And actually, as far as I know, everybody that had a 90-day warranty is at least at 6 months now. Some are now going from 6 months to a year. And some, like Apollo coming up, is actually already at 2 years. Okay. And so what's happening is this is really good, because it's showing the market that, like, hey, these things are legit. They can last you a while, right? But we need the products to have better reliability. We can't have your Xiaomi scooter not being able to fix a tire on that, right? That is why that scooter would be stuck at early adopter, right? It was fantastic for early adopter, but as an industry, right, as a category, we're not going to cross that until we get, easily changeable tires, right? I mean, like, this is not rocket science, I don't think. Some models have better reliability than others, but let's face it, like, no matter what scooter you get, they're all kind of made in the same places. There's a couple bigger manufacturers like Segway that have made some really robust scooters, and I hate to say it, but they're kind of leading the way in terms of crossing this chasm, because they just have figured out, I think they're a little bit ahead, actually. Not that I love their scooter or hate their scooters. I have a review on it. I like it. But we need more robustness like that. And until that happens, right, you need to go with, sellers that are obviously, backing you up, right? And the ones that we recommend on our site, any of them that you see coupon codes for on our coupons code page, any of that stuff, we've worked with them a lot and we know them to be good. And if we start hearing that they're not good, we delist them, and we do that really quickly. And we've done that before. So we need these products to kind of get a little bit better. We need an infrastructure for repair, right? Again, you can always send it in, and maybe it becomes, what we're seeing now is a lot of like hot swappable parts, which is awesome. So we're on the right track there. We need easy adjustments for like, braking and stuff like that. Again, we're starting to get there with like finger twisting adjustments for brakes. Maybe we need regulation, right? That's a scary word, but like that regulation will allow potentially more people to sell scooters, right? And it shows people that like this is a legit thing. So I think we're actually starting to cross it, and I can see it in what everybody's doing right now in terms of everybody in the market. And so, this is what we're going to wait to see. But I think the point to remember is we don't have the sharing market necessarily to pull us along. And that's new. And that may come back. It may not come back. But it's just something to think about. Okay, on to, let's talk about the Apollo, okay? So, the Apollo Explorer. So this is a scooter I have behind me. Let's talk about, the biggest thing, right? Let's just talk about the biggest thing. The biggest thing is the warranty, okay? This is the first time that I've seen a 2-year warranty on an electric scooter. I've seen 1-year warranties, and I think I've seen like maybe you get during like Black Friday or something, maybe you get an extra 6 months for a couple, a week of Black Friday. But this is a legit 2-year warranty. Not only that, but most places do not cover wear and tear at all. They're covering, I believe it's wear. Now I should have their page open, but we have a chart on the video coming up at 6:00, so we break it down. But and Apollo, you need to come in here and correct me, but. The wear and tear is covered at cost for the first and second year, meaning that your tire runs out, you need new brake pads. They're going to send you new stuff at the cost of the part with no markup. Okay, I think you just pay for shipping on that. Now, but if you have an actual issue with the scooter, they're going to cover that for the first year, and then for the second year, they're going to cover you at their cost again. So that's the the details, somewhat of the details of that. So 2 things. Number 1, the second year is quite new, and second, the addition of the wear and tear clause in the warranty, it's really good for consumers. So please read the fine print on there and just understand for yourself. Also, our video that is coming out on 6:00, so in 31 minutes, we'll go over the details of that, and we have a chart and everything else. So that is, I think, the biggest thing. The scooter is good. The scooter is good on its own, but it is not. It's not like a crazy unusual scooter. Sorry, I'm just gonna take that out for a second. I think the Skype call's coming in. So let's talk about performance real quick. Okay, so for performance, for top speed and acceleration, right, we put it up against some of the best scooters with single motors, right? That would be the EMOVE Cruiser, the Skywalker 10S, and the Y-Wheel Pro, which is actually a dual one. Can you actually minimize that screen? Just hit the minimize button. It's gonna that's fine. Yeah, it's gonna throw me off because I'm okay. So and then we've got so it's got really good acceleration, right in there with the best of them. It's got a great top speed. So the top speed, we tested it at 29.9 miles per hour, which is really good. It gets up to top speed really quickly. It's got dual disc brakes, as you can see in probably some of the pictures that we're about to show. It's got great braking, dual disc brakes, which is fantastic. I think I stopped in about 11 or 12 feet, which, anything under 12, 13 feet is more due to probably the rider than anything else. And then the hill climb, it did really well as well with a 12-second hill climb. You can find all the stats on this scooter. You can find all the stats on our performance page. So definitely check that out. Ride quality. So for ride quality, you can't really see it here, but it's got a super big deck. Okay. I rode it a ton. I took all kinds of curbs on it, jumped on it. Ramir jumped on it. We're not hearing any creaking. We're not hearing like squeak, 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 like some scooters do. It's built quite well. Ramir even went off the curb, which is awesome. I don't know if Ramir wants to say what he wants to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
You go ahead.
Thanks, Mike. Hey, everyone. It's Ray Mayer once again. Yeah, the scooter was pretty solid. I rode it. It kept up, as Chuck said. I jumped on it. You'll see it in the full review. It's me jumping on it, and it held up pretty nicely. There's no sounds coming from it or nothing. So it's a pretty solid scooter. Take it back, Chuck.
I'm back. Okay. Cool. So what I like about it is that it's got a big deck, right? So one thing that you don't know until you know is the length of the deck needs to be a figure that people are looking at. On our, we're going to start putting it on our reviews, but the long deck allows you to actually, for me, one of my feet, it's like basically I don't overlap my feet at all. So when I'm riding and I'm going 30 miles an hour and I need to stop quickly, right? If your feet are just overlapping each other, it's just not as like comfortable, right? I mean, comfortable is an understatement. You need to have your feet separated. So it's got a nice big deck. You can carve on it. Even though it's a big scooter, you have enough power to like have fun carving, right? Because it's got that like 1,000-watt motor. I think it's 1,400 watts peak. Now for the build quality, right? So Apollo made some claims, and we were like, okay, we're not sure. Is this legit? Okay, and we do this for everybody. We're not singling out Apollo here. Whenever somebody says we have like a certain IP rating and we don't see third-party verification, we always check on that, right? And we did that with some scooters that I won't mention. And in the video review, we actually said that this is actually not official. So we asked the certificate of their IP rating, which that's a first. I've never had that happen. And I took it out in the rain myself. We typically was a good opportunity to like take it out in the rain. So I got my umbrella for the camera because the camera's not waterproof. Got it out in the rain and let it out there for a long time. Rode it after about an hour and then let it sit and rode it again. And I rode it here today, actually, on my way to work. So the IP rating, I mean, now the warranty does not cover water damage, so don't forget that, but it does have the IP rating. So, and it's a legit IP rating. For portability, so it's a big scooter when you got it unfolded, and it's for the big boys out there, right? It's not a 220-pound limit, it's a 265-pound limit. So, you do have you're able to like get on there, and Ramir rode it, and Ramir on certain scooters doesn't look so good. He looked good on this one. But it does collapse pretty small into 46 inches by 9.25 inches wide, which is the deck width, by I believe 17 inches tall. So when you're thinking about putting this on public transportation, you need to just think about those dimensions, see if it's going to work. The scooter weighs 52 pounds. Again, in the video, we kind of compare weight and this and that, but within the scooters that we're comparing it to, it is one of the lighter weight scooters at 52 pounds. For safety, it checks all the boxes except for one for safety. It does not have a horn. So we recommend getting an aftermarket horn. You can find the link to our favorite in the video description. But It has front button lights, rear button lights. Definitely, we would always recommend getting an additional handlebar mounted front light. Again, video description, you find our favorite. But what's cool about this scooter is that it's got the front stem and deck lighting. So I ride home from work at night from the office here, right? It's about 1.7 miles. Berkeley is notorious for having dark streets. These like older folks in Berkeley constantly hit people with their cars, or at least they did when they were still driving. They're not driving anymore, unfortunately, but we'll show that to you. But the other nice safety features are large tires, right? They're large 10-inch tires. So the larger the tire, the better they are going to be at, like, rolling over obstacles, things like that. They're pneumatic, right? Which pneumatic versus solid tires are going to be better for performance, safety, and comfort, because they grip the road better. So in wet conditions and things like that, you just have more. The guys on here. Hold on one second. Hold on. Let me just bear with me while I try to figure out how to hear them. Can you check Skype for me? See if okay, hang on. I think I just need a. Guys, do you have your mic muted by any chance? I can see him. No, this thing always messes up. Let me just turn it off and turn it on. 1 second. Guys, let's see. No, I can't hear him still. Are you getting their audio?
1 second. See if they can talk.
Go, guys. Can you count to 10, guys? No, we're not. Their mic is definitely on. Give me 1 second. 1 second, everybody. Don't anybody leave. Oh, I'm going to answer some questions while Ramir gets them going real quick. Travis asks, is rain a scam? That's a great question. I'll get to the back. If you guys just talk amongst yourselves, I can see you guys right now. If you talk amongst yourselves, I'll know when you come back in. The other thing, yeah, Ramir, you'll see when they're talking. So Rain. We try to have Rain on our show. A lot of these Indiegogos are really hard. I cannot say that they're a scam or not a scam. Are you guys? Can you say something?
Here we go up?
Yeah, they're in. Yeah, I can hear them. Are you getting them on there?
Yeah, I'm getting them on here, but it's the stream.
Yeah, hold on, guys. I'm sorry.
It's our internet right now. Check my desktop.
Hey guys, let's see if this is
Yeah.
Can you hear him?
We
got him. Okay, let me just get you guys big on my screen real quick.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
There we go.
Hi.
Okay, sorry about that. We only lost like one viewer, so it's all good. Welcome to the show, you guys. This is Mac and Chris from Apollo Scooters. You guys are the co-founders, and welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having us. We're really happy to be here, guys.
Awesome. So today I want to bring you guys on because, of course, we're reviewing the scooter, but basically we want to be able to answer any questions from the audience, from our live chat folks over here. So I've got my live chat open, and so yeah, so we'll kind of cue that up. Ramir's got that going, but maybe we can just quickly first talk about, like, how did you guys start this business? Why did you start it? When did you start it? That kind of thing. Just give me the quick history of you guys, of Apollo Scooters.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so me and Maciek were roommates before 2 years ago when we were working at L'Oreal in marketing. And we came back from holiday in Europe where we saw all of these, electric scooters everywhere, Bird and Lime, and decided. And when we got back, we're like, let's get a scooter. So we looked everywhere and we couldn't find anything. And we were like, this is ridiculous. So we put fake ads everywhere on the Canadian market and said, let's see if it works. The next day we woke up and there was like 50 messages from people being like, I want to buy. And we're like, great. I mean, there's our sign.
What did you post on Craigslist? It was just like a fake scooter?
Xiaomi ES2 photos, like the classic,
Yep.
scooters that are in the market.
Yeah.
It worked, and we were like, okay, let's start a business. So day one, incorporated the company, ordered the stock from China, and then that's how we worked. So it's been a blessing since. It's been really, really good. We started with the major brands like Xiaomi, Segway, and all of these, and then now we're actually manufacturing our own scooters, which is a big step, and it's been an incredible roller coaster year.
Wow. Okay. And so how long ago did you guys start?
That was about 2 years ago now.
Okay, 2 years ago. Wow. Okay. And then so you started with the kind of name brand scooters, and then did you go towards, I know you guys started selling the Mercane scooters and whatnot. And like, how was that process? And why did you choose the scooters that you chose, I suppose?
I mean, as you can probably tell by now, we like to test things before we commit to anything. And so, as Chris mentioned, we did put up a lot of fake ads just to test demand. And we did that for the Xiaomis, the 9bots, and ultimately we ended up doing it for Mercanes, and we just measured the response. And the signs were very clear. The market wanted better scooter, faster scooters, better build scooters. And so we answered that demand by introducing these different products to our lineup.
Got it. How did you guys start this Apollo line? How did you choose I know there's more to it than just a 24-month warranty, and I know I didn't get into all the machining and the CNC because that's just not my area of expertise. But can you tell me a little bit about how you developed this scooter, why you chose what you chose, and how why you are doing this 24-month warranty that nobody else is doing right now?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So we actually started because we have been selling a scooter that was manufactured by the same factory that manufactures Zero scooters for the last 2 years. And over the course of those 2 years, we got a lot of feedback from our customers, and a lot of it had to do with concerns over quality and a lack of good support post-purchase. And the message was clear. We want to buy a scooter to ride it. We don't want to buy a scooter to worry about fixing it 2 months later. And so we took that to heart, and we actually felt that Zero was a fantastic foundation. We absolutely loved their lineup, and we loved the value that they brought to the market. But we also felt that there was room for improvement. So we reached out to Titan, the factory behind Zero. And for those that are not familiar, Zero is a customer of Titan, as are we, and they essentially buy the mold, just like us, and sell it in their respective markets. And so that for Zero being Singapore and Asia, and we felt that we could essentially take that foundation that they created and adapt it to the North American standards by introducing a bit more quality and a bit more service in the form of warranty. So, the elephant in the room is how are we any different than Zero scooters? And we felt, it was appropriate to address that head on. So there are three main differences between us and Zero. The first one being the fact that we actually incorporated a whole new quality control process into the manufacturing process. And that actually is made up of 143-point checklist that the factory puts every single part subset, and fully assembled scooters through to make sure that the actual defect rate at the end of the process is way less than for any of its other products. And we further continue to drive it down by the last quality inspection at our warehouse in Montreal. The second big difference is actually more technical, and that's the design changes we introduced to the product. The first one being the fact that our frame is actually made of forged aluminum and not die-cast aluminum. So we've heard some horror stories about riders having accidents in different places all around the world, and we wanted to make sure we're not taking any chances whatsoever. So we made that decision to go with a slightly more expensive material, but hopefully for a better outcome. Another example of a design difference or choice we made was going with the Dynavolt batteries as opposed to no-name cells in those battery packs. And then another example would be getting those IP water resistance certificates that you mentioned. So we really just wanted to make a feel-good scooter that was a holistic package that our customers could feel good about purchasing. And then the last and final difference, and this is kind of the end of the story, is really more of a supply chain situation that we found ourselves. As I'm sure Zero operates on a dealership model where they buy the scooters from Titan, then distribute it, and then import it, and then resell it through dealers. And that's great. It's worked out amazingly well for them. We, on the other hand, make the scooters with Titan, and then we import them ourselves, we distribute them ourselves, and we sell them ourselves. So we're skipping a lot of middlemen in the middle. And that way we're actually able to offer a better product for less to our customers, which is how we explain some of the lower prices.
And lastly is, as you mentioned, the warranty. You're buying an expensive scooter at the end of the day. The last thing you want is having issues. Like having to change, having to pay a premium for parts. We think it's not really fair when you're spending $2,000 on a scooter, and there's some scooter companies that are offering 3 months warranty. It's a big purchase for a customer, and the last thing you want to do is be stuck with no support and no spare parts for this. So we offer this 12-month warranty, 24-month warranty, sorry, that covers 12 months manufacturer defect, 24 wear and tear. And just to give you an example of that, basically, like if a brake caliper breaks on an Apollo Explore, retailers would normally sell us for $25. We would sell it for $10 at cost, basically. Again, we're here to help you. It's not really to you're committing to a long-term relationship with us, and we'll always be there to help you, basically.
Awesome. Very cool. So how has the response been so far for this scooter, for the warranty? I know we get a lot of people talking about it on social media. And what has the response been for you guys so far? I think you're just starting to send out the first ones. Is that right?
Yeah. So in a week and a half, so that's when we start sending out. So we get all of them, we quality check it. Response has been fantastic. It's cute. Like you have all different, like in this whole market, you have a different range of customers. Like we had the first person who bought an Apollo scooter was a 72-year-old who hadn't been for 60 years. And it was a cute thing. Like he had tears in his eyes. Like he hasn't ridden a scooter since his childhood, and he wanted the support. And it was just a nice feeling. And yeah, the design. I mean, it's been a great response so far.
Yeah.
Awesome. I know you guys gave our viewers, the viewers here, I think it's $100 off accessories. I know, and actually, I don't know if you guys know this, but like you sent us some of the accessories. So I just want to. I still have. I didn't even know, but I just, some of them I haven't taken out of the box yet, but like we've got this U-lock, which is like a fingerprint enabled one, which actually in the video, I used it in the video that's coming up in 12 minutes. And then, I think this is the cell phone holder. Oh, lost the audio there for a second. There we go. Got you back. And then you also sent, what was the other thing you sent? Hold on. I didn't plan this segment. I just remember, I have the accessories sitting here right next to me. There was one other accessory. Fast charger. So, that is, hold on. We lost your guys' audio again. Shoot. Well, I can hear you, but I don't think anybody else. You can hear him?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, no, we're good. Sorry. So the fast charger, which I have right here, which charges the scooter in like 3 to 4 hours, and it's a big battery, right? It goes, we tested that. What did we get? 28.1 miles is actually I know it's not on our site yet or anything like that. Of course we test them in the fastest mode on the worst conditions, starts and stops and everything like that. So we're going to get less than what manufacturer says, but it's still 28 miles, which is, it's a good amount of distance. And so, when we run it out, boom, you can use that fast charger. So the coupon code is just our website, electric-scooter.guide, and then you can get $100 off the accessories. So it's cool.
Roughly.
What do you say? They're shipping in a week and a half?
A week and a half. Correct.
Okay, awesome. So what is next for you guys? Like what's like next for you as a company and scooters and all that stuff?
Great question. The good news is we're just getting started. So, it's not often you get to launch a scooter lineup in the midst of a pandemic. We're for sure feeling really grateful to go through this experience and feel that it can only go up from here. But jokes aside, we're actually working on something that's a whole different scooter. So we're going to be developing a scooter from scratch. No more buying molds from factories. We're actually working very, very closely with a couple of partners here in Montreal, as well as a couple of factories over in China to develop a scooter that's completely different from what's currently on the market, while keeping the same principles that we hold very close to our hearts, like good value for money, excellent service, and amazing warranty and support, to hopefully bring something that hasn't been seen before.
Interesting. Can you give us any more details? I know everybody wants to know. Like single motor, dual motor, weight?
Under 25 kilos.
25, yeah.
What is that, 50 pounds, 55 pounds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Under 55
So,
pounds,
so around the same weight as the Explorer, and you said dual motor.
Basically, it's going to be it's going to be a blend of a couple of high performance scooters we've seen on the market, specifically a few of the Dualtrons, but with some of the features that we've seen in some of the more recent models, even like the Rain. We love the tail light, for example, on that one. So we're kind of picking what we like and adding a couple of different technologies. I don't know if I could be sharing this yet, but there is a company in Montreal that is extremely technologically advanced, and they've developed a controller that is ultimately just next generation that allows you to essentially do remote diagnostics on these scooters. So, the second you have any issue with this scooter, you pull up your app, exactly. We send you the part, it's done. So we're further building on that, 24-month warranty to make the experience even more seamless for our customers. So these are just a couple examples of what's coming down the pipe.
Yeah, interesting. When someone's asking when that is coming out, like do you have like any kind of timeline on that?
Looking at around September, October.
September, yeah. Very cool. Okay. I mean, that's interesting, and it's gonna.
You'll have to show.
Oh, good. Yeah. I appreciate that. And what is that? Do you have is that going to be, I'm assuming it's going to be on the more expensive side, like Canadian 2,500 and up?
Actually, again, we want to make sure that it's as accessible as possible, including financially. So we're looking at, we're targeting the price of around 1,800 Canadian, 1,900 Canadian. So that works out to, let's see, about,
13
12 to 1,400 US, yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. Very cool. Someone's asking about tuning the controller, that particular one that you're talking about. Is it like tunable? In other words, like I always thought it would be really fun to like, maybe this question is different than my question, but like to be able to say, hey, I want to get X amount of range and I want, more hill climbing. I want a max power. And I know right now we can go mode 1, 2, or 3, which somewhat does that, or sometimes it just limits your speed, but you actually get the same power a lot of time. What do you be able to do there?
You will be able to get dramatically more out of this scooter than anything else you've seen on the market before. To give you an example, the torque that we're expecting to have in that scooter will be about 2.5 times more than the 010X. That's the max torque you'll be able to set it to. And of course, that's going to be controllable by the app itself. So you will have full control over what is possible and how far, how fast, how much you want of anything.
Awesome.
So pretty, it'll be very much at your disposal to choose and set the controls that you want.
That's cool. Robert's got a ton of questions. Robert probably should call you guys, but I'll ask for him because I want to know too. Will the scooter go over 30 miles per hour?
Yeah, the speed we're targeting is about 50 kilometers per hour. So let's see what that converts to.
Yeah, 36.
So I believe that's 31 miles actually. Yeah.
Okay. And then tubeless tires, or tubeless or tube filled pneumatic or solid or hybrid.
We're looking at about I can share the tire size for now. That's about 10-inch we're looking at, just to make sure that it's comfortable to ride as well.
Yep.
I don't think we've made a decision on the tube itself yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put my vote in for tubeless. Anyway, maybe other people want to chime in on what kind of tires they want. Cool. Okay. No, this is good. And another question about that scooter. Sorry, we should talk about the Apollo because that's what we're supposed to be talking about. Will it have foldable handlebars? And Robert says tubeless ! So one vote for tubeless.
In terms of the handlebars, again, it's probably not going to be foldable handlebars. Just because of the stability. When you're going at high speeds of beyond 31 miles per hour, safety is the number one priority. And sometimes with these, they can unfold while doing it. So, you get a lot of customer feedback, and that's what it's more trending towards the full handlebar. We will offer potentially an upgrade that's sort of a different alternative for people who really want to get that foldable thing, which is fine. For the time being, we're focused on stability because at that speed, it's crucial that safety is first, number one.
Got it. Okay. Scooter industry, scooter market as a whole. You guys talk about that? I'm assuming that you do. I don't know. Every day. Where do you think are the major factors? Like what should people see right now? I mean, you guys are kind of in the middle of it and you've been around for a couple of years, so you kind of seen things come and go. What do you guys see as kind of like some of the trends that people should expect?
In major cities like Canada, for example, up to 70% of people use a car for distances of less than 5 kilometers, so 3 miles a day. So you get that really inefficient side, of a car, it just doesn't make sense financially for the environment, and it's just not fun. Scooters are, so much cheaper, much more convenient, sustainable, efficient, and portable. Really, I mean, Lime and Bird did a great job of coming here and really showcasing their scooters. But and we were actually a bit scared at first but it was actually a blessing for our business because people try these Lime scooters. They realize, it costs a lot of money if you use it every day. They're not comfortable. There's no suspension. And I can actually get my own electric scooter, which has, at a much better price. So we see the model shifting much more towards ownership over rentals. And just to give you, we also applied to, we're working with the government here for potential sort of B2B program in which each company has 10 scooters that they give access to their employees. And the reason being because it increases, flexibility, work-life balance. You can leave whenever you want. You can come whenever you want. And you don't have to come in a car at the end of the day because Montreal is really trying to, get a better environmental footprint, basically.
Interesting. So, yeah. I know a lot of cities are saying the same thing. I think actually just yesterday or tomorrow, as it's in England, the transportation minister, literally, I was going to talk about it, but I crossed it out because I figured we're never going to get to the scooter if I talk about all this other stuff. But basically, the transportation guy is saying public transport and active travel will be the natural first choice for our daily activities. We will use our cars less and be able to rely on a convenient, cost-effective, and coherent public transport network, which is, what he's saying, right? And UK has been dealing with this as well as every other city is like, are we building the future of our cities for cars, or are we building the future of our cities for these other more efficient, more environmentally friendly, cheaper for everybody devices, I guess. So, I mean, that's what he said. I know that they're trying it out there. So I think it's interesting. And also car usage is down across the board right now, whereas, biking is actually up across the board. So, I mean, biking is the only data we have. We don't have scooter data right now, but you would assume that all kind of like micromobility is up a lot right now, whereas driving is a bit down. And we'll see if this coronavirus thing changes people's behavior permanently, or if this is, things will go back to status quo afterwards. We got 1 minute left. What do you guys think?
To be honest, we like to think that this coronavirus situation we're kind of forced to be in right now it's essentially fueling innovation in a way that we have not seen before. I mean, you're seeing, universities take to online to all of a sudden teach classes that were not really taught online. You're seeing food delivery being done in a whole different way. Everyone's evolving and adapting, and I feel like so are we. We are just lucky enough to be in a position that other customers are now maturing to kind of see and understand as the best alternative. Whereas previously they would have never considered scooters as a viable mode of transportation. Now they're looking at it as the savior of whatever it is they were looking for. So I think we're lucky to be in the situation we're in. It's an oddly good time for business. So I'm just gonna be careful saying that, because obviously it's a tough situation for everyone. But we're allowed to be going through this experience because, like we said before, it's only gonna be up from here.
Awesome. Well said. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. We were stoked to have this scooter and try it out for a while. I hope you guys stick around. I'm just pasting the Premiere link right now into the live chat. So if you guys want, jump over to the live chat. That'll start in about a minute. Again, thank you guys for coming on and can't wait to have you on again.
Thank you so much for having us, guys. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to wrap up. It was awesome having them on. I hope you guys jump over. I'm going to jump over right now to the Premiere. I'll be in live chat. If you have questions for me about this scooter, any scooter, whatever, I'll be in the live chat. So we'll see you then. Until next week, ENOKIM Aux, join us, 5 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time next week. Until next time, ride safe. Don't forget to wear your helmet and wash your hands.